tossed in the unruly waters. She glanced back one more time at the old French castle high on the hill behind, almost lost in the morning mist. "We'll never set foot on that side of the river again, mark my words." Her friend Nellie's voice was in her ear. "Why do you upset people like that, Nellie?" "Of course we'll go back." Lucy turned to her husband. "Won't we, John?" "No one knows for sure, but I'm one who's planning to return for what is mine. Ours," he added. Lucy looked again. For 6 long months she had waited and worried there with her child. Now John's arm held her again, but still her stomach clenched and the skin on her knees jerked up and down, a sign of her nervousness, as their boat neared the alien shore. She had one foot in the past and one in the future, where, ahead, a wall of towering trees loomed black out of the fog. "Oh, man the lines!" An elbow gouged her, but John held tight, and she choked back her scream. Harper John's arms tightened around her neck. She clutched him to her. "You're safe, little one," she murmured. "You're safe." They landed on the narrow slip of stony beach, and the lines were tied. The push began to get the fugitives and their goods off the bateau, through the shallow, frigid water, and up onto the rocky shore. Most people had boxes and barrels of cooking pots and quilts and blankets, all the possessions of a lifetime. But Lucinda and John had only a small satchel, 2 guns, and 2 saddled horses. "Off now! Vite!" shouted the boatman. "We have many load today." John pushed ahead through the press of people and lifted her and their child onto the shore. She turned to speak to him, but he was already back on the boat for their horses. With no choice, she followed the other women, tripping and falling up the rocky shore to the path above. Finally, she set Harper John down to walk beside her, and he squealed and laughed, jerking to be free. But she held fast and pulled him along as she followed Nellie's dark skirts. The wall of trees opened up, and she recognized Butler's barracks, of which John had told her, standing firm and solid in the open field ahead. They would have shelter at least, until the king made good on his promise to take care of them and all the other Loyalists who had already lost their homes in the war. The skies were dark with rain clouds, and the damp permeated Lucinda's light skirts. She began to shiver, but would not release the little hand struggling to be out of her own. Everything was gray. The sky, the hard-packed ground, the faces of the refugees arriving, even the soldiers barking out orders. "Lucy, over here!" John called to her as he struggled to pull the stubborn horses up the embankment. She dropped Harper John's hand, told him to wait by the satchel, and ran to help. "The baby! Catch him, Lucy!" She whirled around. Harper John was hobbling across the field toward the barracks on pudgy little legs that threatened to pitch him to the ground at any moment. She raced through the wet grass. "Harper John!" she yelled, but he ran faster, his teasing laugh floating back to her, the only joy in the whole scene. He ran for the open door, but just as she reached him, stumbled and fell over the lintel into the dark building. "Harper John, don't cry. You're not hurt." She brushed at his muddy trousers and his smudged hands. "You need to slow down, young man." Lucy heard boots behind her and looked up to see 5 rangers in their green jackets and khaki pants. They formed a smiling circle around her and her son. "He got away from me," she said. "Sorry to disturb you." "You have no need to apologize. No need to apologize, madam," said the short, stocky man before her. "He is just a child." "Lucy, is he all right?" John pushed through the soldiers, their satchel in his hand, and grabbed her arm. Before